Do you know why so many of us feel lonely? Although we have a lot of friends and family members and relatives, but we feel lonely. Why? What is the reason behind that? Because we're all alone, and you're alone too. A century. He said exactly, everyone who is felt far from his source wishes back the time when he was united with it. Okay, what does it mean? In previous verses, we mentioned that Rumi says that he was a reed and he was in the reed bed and now he is something else in somewhere else. It means that they cut the reed and they just move it to another place and now it is a musical instrument and that musical instrument is crying, okay? So he said, okay, the riverbed. The riverbed is the place where other reeds were grown in that place. And Rumi thinks that, okay, in that place we were all united, okay, and we were just one thing. But they just cut one of the reeds, and I am one of those reeds, okay? This is what Rumi thinks about separation and loneliness. If you haven't watched the previous videos, you can click the playlist. I provide the link above, which is about the Rumi and Rumi stories. And after these 18 verses, we work on the stories that they do a lot of things to improve your mental health and personal development. They are important. So, if you have not subscribed to the channel, you can click the subscribe button below, and you can also watch the playlist of Rumi. Okay, he talked about the separation from the source, and the source is where Rumi and other reads were all united. And now, when somebody is separated from his source, that person feels lonely. And it doesn't matter if you're a kind of introvert person or extrovert person. Okay, even today, I can say even the problem is even worse. That today with a lot of social networks, I don't know, uh, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, I don't know, YouTube, but you are still alone. I'm talking to a heartless camera right now. It doesn't matter. Even if you are in society, I'm not talking about the virtual. Virtual society is much, much worse than the real society. But even if you are in real society and you have a lot of friends and you have a lot of colleagues and you know there are a lot of people around you, you are still lonely. Why do I say that? Because when you are making decision, you are alone. When you are thinking, you are alone. Okay, and this is a famous word by Rene Descartes. He says, "I think, so I am." I personally do not agree with this statement because he gives priority to thinking, which is a kind of identity of human, to existence. No, existence is more important. You have to be in existence, and then you can think, and you can do other things. But anyway, when you are thinking, you are alone. There is no one else in your mind. Okay, you actually make decisions alone. You think alone. In all these crucial aspects of your life, you are alone, and you have to do them all yourself. I said, even if you are extrovert person, but the more intellectual you are, the more loneliness you have inside your heart. This is something logic, and you know the reason. The reason is that the people that you feel that, okay, they are around you, well, I can say that most of them are taking their own interests into consideration. For example, imagine that you are a very beautiful lady and somebody comes and say, okay, I fell in love with you and I love you or something like that. All right, very nice. Okay, that's, let's say, just imagine, all right, what if I were a kind of ugly person? Would that person fall in love with me again? Maybe not. If you are a man, a wealthy one, maybe there are a lot of people around you. They're around you to use you because they want to get their own profit from your money, from your knowledge, from what you have, okay? They cannot go deep inside you and understand you. It is impossible for other person to just understand what you are thinking. For example, I'm thinking about something. Can you guess what I'm thinking about right now? It is impossible. Nobody can say, yes, I can think that you're thinking about something. So that is why we are all alone, because we belong to somewhere else, and that place is not in this world. Rumi believed that humans are actually two things, body and soul. After we die, our body goes under the soil and it disposes to different things, and it is not important. But what about the mind? What about our thinking? Thinking is not something to be destroyed. The source of thinking and the source of what you have inside your mind is something eternal. It does not vanish, it does not go to emptiness or nothingness. After you die, your soul just goes to another place that I don't know where. If I die and if there was a possibility to come back and tell you, I will definitely do it, but it's impossible, about it. This is what Rumi believes. He says, yeah, we are made of two things, body and soul, and our soul belongs to eternity. Okay? And what is the source of thinking? I'm talking about thinking about the fundamental things that we have inside the world by wisdom. The source of wisdom is not your brain. The brain is a device. Yes, I agree. You do need to have a brain to be able to think. But there is something above brain. Brain is just like a CPU of a computer, all right? But you need someone else to program that CPU to do something. We have the same thing. Our brain is like a CPU in our skull, okay? And there is something above the brain that orders the brain, okay, think in this way, think in that way, decides to do this and decide not to do this, okay? Your soul of mind is something that belongs to metaphysics. It does not have a physical approach. So, loneliness. What are we going to do with loneliness? Nothing. Just embrace loneliness. And yes, if you think more, if you understand more, you feel more lonely. What are we going to do? You're not going to be able to solve it. So embrace it. Because it can just lead you to higher levels of humanity. I think you need to connect yourself to eternity. And how can you do it? By doing some kind of moral things. I mean, put priority to morality and ethics, that they are very important. When you are helping other people, you're actually improving your mental health. When you help with the other people and you do not expect other people to do something for you. When you do some kind of, I don't know, when you help the charities, for example, you're doing something good and you feel good, okay? Even if you are alone, even if you feel lonely, and I know it aches and it hurts a lot. I understand it. And even the more intellectual people are, they are so alone and they feel frustrated. Sometimes they feel a lot of pain inside their heart. They say, oh, nobody else can understand me in the way that I like to be understood. I agree. But what can you do? Just try to connect yourself with the eternity. And then later, I have my interpretation of what eternity is. Is eternity the God Himself? Can we be the God? Or can we be with the God? So, what are we going to do? You're going to do what God does. Be a moral person and do moral things. Morality and ethics These two things are very important for your mental health in this world, and you understand with what I'm talking about. Today, that the new year, I'm just recording this video before Christmas. In the next week, we're gonna have Christmas, and then 2025 will start. So look at the world right now. Even right now, we have the conflict between Israel and Gaza, Israel and Lebanon, Israel and Iran, Ukraine and Russia. Right now, we have some conflicts inside Syria, and I don't know what happens next. So there are wars in different corners of the world, specifically in the Middle East. But anyway, just try to be a good person and wait for my next video. Thank you very much and take good care. Bye bye.